So you're in the music industry, you have some hearing loss. How do you keep moving forward both in your professional and your personal life? Let's get to work. My name's Jimmy. I'm a professional in the music business, and I have hearing loss in my left ear. I have a hearing aid. It's not really doing much right now, but we'll get to that. I've been in and around loud music since I was about 8 years old. I started working on more professional projects at the age of 20, 21-ish, and now I'm in my 40s and have severe hearing loss in my left ear. So like many people in the music industry, we oftentimes have music adjacent jobs. So you might be in radio, but you also might produce records. Something like that. Or you might be a club promoter, but you also DJ. Wearing a lot of hats is not uncommon in a lot of industries, but even more so in the music industry. So through the span of my career, I was also a club DJ for 15 years. So you ever see the DJs and they have the one ear exposed? Guess what ear was exposed for me? This isn't some woe-is me story. Don't feel bad for me. You shouldn't feel bad for yourself either. There are plenty of things in the industry you can do with total hearing loss, nonetheless just having loss in one ear. We'll touch more on that in a minute. So how I found out that I had some significant hearing loss was during the pandemic when everyone was taking temperatures 85 times a day. I couldn't hear the ear thermometer in my left ear. So I hear that. So I know it's beeping, but it sounds like it's almost coming from somewhere else in the room. Anyway, so that's how I found out. Also, my wife told me twice a day. I want to give you a visual of what my hearing loss kind of looks like. So if we look at a regular EQ spectrum, why is that over there? Down here is the lows, the low mids, the high mids, and your highs, right? So this is kind of the even plane where everyone starts off. Mine is more like this, just to my left ear now. So you see, if you follow this light blue edge, that's kind of my baseline of where my left ear is starting. I do have a hearing aid. It does help a lot, mostly with voices. The lows are hard for almost everyone. In my case, my doctor was more worried about concentrating on me being able to hear voices. So that's more in the mid section of this EQ spectrum. And that's where most hearing aids will try to concentrate. There's a lot of different hearing aids out there that concentrate more on highs and lows. But for the most part, doctors want you to be able to hear what people are saying, because that's when it can really affect your personal quality of life, is when you don't know what people are saying. Your brain basically it doesn't tune it out. It never gets to the sounds of voices, never get to your brain for it to even know what someone is saying to you. And that can be really frustrating, especially if it's accompanied with tinnitus or tinnitus, however you say it, that ringing in your ears. I have a case right now. It's really bad because of my allergies. I'm on day 31 or 2 of a straight ring in my ear. If that's something that is going on too, just get to your doctor regardless. A few hours or even a day might be okay, but my doctor said it's just allergies, so I'm waiting it out with some allergy medicine. Fingers crossed. Anyway, so how does this affect me in my personal life and during my music journey? When I lost my hearing, it was definitely, it was hard. I'm not going to lie. It kind of affects you more mentally than it does anything else. I'm sure it's the same idea for a lot of you. When music is all you know, and then a part of your hearing is damaged, it's like cutting off the hand of a writer. You can't, it just eats at you a little bit, especially in the beginning. So where does your hearing loss put you in the music world, right? Now, there's a ton of musicians that have hearing loss. Phil Collins, Eric Clapton, Bono, Sting, Neil Young, will.i.am. There's a lot. So to be completely honest, your best bet is probably not to be an audio engineer or a mastering engineer, because even with the help of a hearing aid, you're not going to be as precise as the music needs to be. But that doesn't mean you can't still take care of the hearing you have, continue to do some of your live shows. If it gets to you mentally, I get it, man. I get it. It can really shut you down, because even during the processes of making a record or anything audio, you kind of doubt yourself. and you rely way more on visuals, whether it be your EQ or a reference track, or you might even consider using some more artificial intelligence tools to kind of help you get through some of the music making process. It almost feels, but when you do those things and rely heavily on visuals instead of your ears, it kind of makes you feel, I don't know if it's like less than, but you feel like you're not doing a good job. It feels like you're not working to your fullest potential. But like I said earlier, this isn't some feel bad for yourself type of condition that you have to deal with. If you're not comfortable making music anymore, you can definitely get something more music adjacent. I've produced radio shows for, 20-something years, and that type of audio production is less critical, so to speak, as far as how it sounds. Everything on radio or podcast is so compressed and limiters everywhere. That might be a way you want to go. Or maybe you want to get into marketing. Maybe you want to work with a royalty collection agency. I firmly believe that you can definitely find a spot inside of the music industry or the radio industry or a live music venue. Maybe not live music. But you understand what I mean, right? You can definitely do something still in the creative space. Be a content creator. For me, my crutch has always been like radio and podcast production. Like I really like making the intros to shows or stabs or sweepers, sometimes even commercials for radio. That's always interested me. So I consider myself lucky that I have those fallbacks to not always rely on music making, even making these videos. Thank you. Even why I make these videos is largely because I can't spend so much time making music. Now, lastly, if you are having some type of issue with your ears, I would definitely recommend going to, at the very least, your primary doctor first, who will probably refer you out to an audiologist. Now, they go through things super thoroughly besides just looking in your ear. For me, at least, they had me do even an MRI just to make sure there was nothing cancerous in there or any growths inside the ear. Once the doctors get through their series of tests, they can narrow down exactly what's causing your hearing loss. For me, it was noise-induced. Now, it's not that common for adults to get hearing tests, especially like in their 30s and 40s. But I would definitely recommend doing so just for the simple fact that hearing loss can lead to early dementia, which kind of makes sense once you get more of the literature on hearing loss, is when you're not really hearing with your ears, you're hearing with your brain. So if your brain's not getting the information it needs, it'll start, for lack of a better word, start to shut off. It'll say, hey, I'm not using this. Let's close the doors on that. To end, I'm hopeful for me. I'm hopeful for you. You definitely have a space inside the music industry. And if you have any hearing loss, make sure you go get it checked out, please. Until the next one, guys. Peace.